Whenever people talk about Red Dead Redemption 2, most often than not they're talking about how great the game's story is. Its well-written characters, immersive world, and absurd attention to detail gives a lot of AAA games a run for their money even today 6 years after its release. And it's not like you can blame people for not shutting up about it. The story of Arthur Morgan and the fall of the Van der Linde gang will always be regarded as one of the best stories in gaming history. However, I'm not here today to just sing its praises or expose its flaws. There's already 100 videos made with those intentions in mind. I'm here to talk about the impact that Red Dead 2 had on me and how it made me realize and appreciate a lot of things about life and video games in general. It holds a very special place in my heart not only because of its technical genius but also with the unique experience it gave me during my first playthrough. This game came into my life in the right place and at the right time. This is how Red Dead Redemption 2 healed me. Red Dead Redemption 2 was released way back in 2018, and I remember watching people's playthroughs on YouTube since it's a highly anticipated release for that year. It didn't really appeal that much to me since games like Spider-Man and God of War also came out around the same time frame. I tried my best to find the reason why I never really paid attention to it, and I remember narrowing it down to simply not finding the Wild West setting as appealing as the other two. Added to the fact that I didn't really know anything about the Red Dead IP aside from it being a Rockstar game. And, you know, I heard that the horse testicle physics in this game is top notch. So, with my lack of interest and financial resources, I decided to pass on it and just play other games that seemed fun to me. At this point in time, I remember just buying pre-owned mediocre games since I couldn't really afford to spend $40 on video games. $40 in the Philippines is steep, especially for a broke 17-year-old high school student. Fast forward to January of 2020, a friend of mine brought a copy of Red Dead 2. He decided to lend me his copy, and that is where my initial encounter with this magnum opus of a game started. I vividly remember the first time I played this game. It was a quiet evening right after a long day at school, and all I can hear is my PS4 sounding like a plane taking off as the game needed 2 discs to get 100 gigs of data installed. Kidding aside, as soon as the first cutscene played, I already sensed that I'm in for something special. It felt like I was watching a high-budget western movie with how everything was set up. The intro managed to set the tone so nicely that within the first 30 minutes of playing it, I'm already hooked. They introduced us to Arthur Morgan, we were given proper context why they're traveling through a blizzard, we were taught the basic mechanics of riding our horse, and yeah, I checked the horse testicle physics right away. Anyway, what stood out to me during the first few moments of my playthrough is how the game manages to relay information without actually spelling it word by word. From this cutscene alone, we can immediately tell that Dutch is the leader of the pack. Just from the way he speaks, the way he dresses, and just how he acts in general. Arthur and Hosea being by his side means that they are his right-hand men. This way of conveying information is not only present in the game's cutscenes but is also ingrained with the gameplay itself, which makes the game feel more immersive and real. The relationship between the gang members and how they treat each other amidst all of the chaos they stirred back in Blackwater made me feel like I'm also part of the gang. There's this warm, welcoming, and comforting feeling that lingers whenever I stay in camp and just talk to other gang members. Sometimes I go back just to check on what they're doing, and it's cool to see that they seemingly have their own day-to-day schedules. Them singing along the campfire, sleeping, and doing whatever the hell, and I'll be like, okay, I'll catch you later then. And please tell me I'm not the only one, but I really wanted to taste Pearson's too. Like, what the hell? It looks delicious and not delicious at the same time. Can I please have a bowl? Chapter 2 is truly where I fell in love with the game, as this is where the world truly opens for the first time. Seeing the transition from snowy mountains to vibrant looking forests is just really, really beautiful. That mission where Arthur broke the goddamn wheel, chef's kiss, still remains as one of the most memorable moments of my playthrough. Now, before this video turns into me just glazing Red Dead 2 non-stop, I need to give you guys a rundown on how things were in my life during the time I played this game. I started playing Red Dead 2 around January of 2020, the same 2020 where the world experienced the COVID-19 pandemic. Restrictions were placed preventing people to go out, socialize, and interact with anything that has something to do with the outside world. It's a surreal time to live in since the idea of the world shutting down seemed very unlikely in the modern times. The longer the quarantine went on for, the more I fell into a downward spiral of loneliness and emptiness. It made me over sentimental with everything, even to the most mundane things that we don't usually pay attention to. I missed the smell of grass in the morning. I started to reminisce about my commute in the university. I started to wonder what my friends and peers were up to, like, are you guys still alive? Amidst the madness that is the pandemic, Red Dead 2 acted as my escape to whatever the hell is going on in the world, and in a lot of ways, really helped me get through this difficult time. I've spent countless hours just wandering around, getting lost in the open world that I sometimes forget that I have main story quests to attend to. The random NPC interactions, the slightly unpredictable encounters you get just running around the world, all of these may seem very insignificant, but it's what makes the world feel real. Of course, this commitment to realism is not everyone's cup of tea. Like, I remember players complaining about how long it takes for Arthur to loot things and how heavy he felt to control, but to me, this is what helps to sell the idea that I'm a 6'2" handsome gunslinger going around the Wild West. Fishing at O'Crea's Run, hunting all the legendary animals, crafting all sorts of stuff from trinkets to different satchels. There's just so much stuff to do inside the game, and to me, that's what an open world is supposed to be like. An experience that gives the players a chance to immerse themselves and have a taste of what it's like to live inside the world that the developers want to create. A surreal experience that, if done well, can be therapeutic, especially for someone who's stuck inside a house during a global catastrophe. One thing that I do all the time is to divide the journeys I take to a few in-game days. Like, when I see that nighttime is approaching, I'll find a place where Arthur can camp, eat dinner, and sleep. Sure, it doesn't sound that fun. It's literally the equivalent of following the traffic laws in GTA, which is boring as fuck. But man, for some reason, playing like this helped me a lot to cope up with the emptiness I felt during that time. Being able to do things that I can't do in real life made me really happy. Aside from the detailed open world, I think one of the biggest reasons why Red Dead 2 feels so alive is Arthur Morgan himself. Arthur is different compared to usual protagonists that we see in media. The way he's portrayed is a huge contrast to the traditional protagonist archetype that we all grew up with. He's flawed, he kills people, steals money, and does whatever is necessary for the gang's survival. And most importantly is that he's self-aware. This makes him a really grounded character, and I think that's the reason why a lot of gamers, including myself, resonate with him so much. Yes, we may not be outlaws living in the 1800s, but one thing that's sure is that we're not perfect. We make mistakes and we do our best to get by. He knows that he's lived a bad life, and during his final moments, tried his best to make a difference. A well-known cutscene where this self-awareness is showcased is the conversation between Arthur and Sister Calderon at Emerald Ranch. Throughout the game, we see Arthur as a stoic person, someone who everyone, including Dutch, knows they can heavily rely on. And in this cutscene, we see him let his guard down for the first time. The Arthur we know is afraid. Afraid of the inevitable that is to come. I think this moment speaks volumes on how human beings function when they're forced to face their very own mortality. Growing up, we were taught that human beings will inevitably cease to exist, but we don't usually take it seriously since, I'll worry about that when I'm old. We think that we're ready to face this truth, but once the doctor hits you with the, "You have 6 months left to live, son," what do you even do? Now, I shit you not, the moment I got through this cutscene, I deadass put my controller down and started to reflect on how I've lived my life up to that point. I realized how many things I've taken for granted. As I've said earlier, I became over sentimental and more appreciative of life. It's such an eye-opener that I promised myself right there and then to be like Arthur. Not in the sense that I'll be a badass outlaw, but I'll try my best to live without being a dick to everyone. I'm not perfect. The world is cruel enough that I don't want to be someone who adds fuel to the fire. I don't want my hypothetical child to go through bad honor dialogue once I pass. Kidding aside, I always find it interesting how pieces of media can have effects on our lives. Movies, books, music, video games, whatever it is that you're into, there's surely one that you consider as an instrumental part of your life. Red Dead 2 is that to me. It's not my favorite game of all time, but the realizations and experiences it gave me caused it to be an important part of my life. It's a game that I come back to every once in a while to comfort myself from the hardships that life throws at you. It's a constant reminder to try and be a better person. Which is crazy because for the longest time, people always say that video games are bad because they were seen as digital training grounds for future murderers and psychopaths. Yet here we are, a time when video games can teach you lessons about how to live a better life. A time where video games can heal you. If you made it this far onto the video, I just want to say thank you for listening to my unstructured and unorganized ramblings about a famous cowboy game. It's been quite a while since the last time I uploaded a video, so the fact that you're still here, aww, it makes me cry with joy. Consider dropping a like and smashing the subscribe button if you liked what you saw, and it really helps a lot. And with that, boys and girls, I'll see you on the next one. Bye!